Morning, my name is Aaron Smith. I'm with Empire Southwest Equipment Operator Training Group. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the equipment maintenance and what we're going to want to do on a daily before we operate the machine. There's no wrong or right way to do a daily walk around, but you want to try to get in the habit of doing it the same way every single time. What we can do is we can start off at the engine compartment where we're going to be checking all of our fluids. Here on this machine, we're going to open this door. At first glance, we just want to get a general overlook of the machine. We want to look out for anything that stands out, maybe some engine oil leaking. Here in our fuel filter areas, we might see some fuel leaks. Anything that stands out, right? So we just want to check the overall condition of the machine. From there, we're going to want to check our engine oil down here. We have the engine oil dipstick. You can pull it out and check it normally like you would of a car. Place that back in there. So right here we're going to have our engine air filter. Now there's a couple important things with this engine air filter that we want to make sure we point out on a daily. What you want to do is pull this cap off here and check and see if the filter isn't full of really heavy sediment and really heavy material. You can go ahead and pull this filter element out, and what you want to do is just simply tap it on the tracks and give it a little bit of a cleansing. We don't recommend that we blow the filters out with air, only because it causes more damage to the air filter than just tapping it out. Also, you never want to pull this inner filter, and you don't ever want to clean this inner filter. This is only to be changed. So we'll go ahead and put that filter back. Replacing our cap and making sure that's secure. Right here we're going to have an air filter restriction indicator. Now, if you were operating the machine and the machine seems sluggish or slow, if you were to check right here, sometimes there could be a red diaphragm in this window. What that's indicating is that the filter is at a complete restricted point, and the filter is no longer serviceable, and we have to replace the filter. Here's a safety item. This is our backup alarm. We want to make sure that this isn't damaged, that it's connected, and also it's in good working order. Down here we're going to have another fuel filter. We want to make sure that there's no leaking in this area. Right here we're going to have our hydraulic pump. We want to make sure that the hydraulics hoses aren't leaking, that there's no oil, no damage to the hoses. Here we're going to have our exhaust components. We just want to make sure that nothing's broken. All our connections are secure, our hardware. Right here in the back, we're going to have our hydraulic oil sight level glass. To check the proper sight fluid level, we want to have the machine in the position as it is in now. This is the correct way to check the hydraulic oil level. Moving to the front side of the engine, we're going to want to inspect our radiator assembly for any leaks, any debris, any damage to the cooling fins. We're also going to want to look at the coolant reservoir, the overflow reservoir, for the proper level. We want to make sure it's in between the full and the low. Also, at this time we can inspect the batteries. We can make sure that our battery cables are tight, make sure we have no corrosion, no leaking on our batteries. Moving to the front area, we're going to want to be doing our daily greasing of the machine. We're going to find grease points throughout the machine boom and stick assembly, but anywhere we have a point of rotation or a pin, we're going to have a greaser. Here we can see we have one, two, we'll have one here on top, one here on bottom, and all the way through, anywhere we're going to have a pin, we're going to have a point of greasing. And you can keep that as a rule of thumb all the way throughout the machine. Anywhere we have a pin, we're going to have a point of grease. All the way down here, all the way down to the bucket linkage as well. Also, what we want to be looking for is the conditions of our lines, right? We want to be checking the condition of our hoses, our hard lines. Also, we want to check our cylinders. We want to make sure that we're not seeing any hydraulic oil leaking in this area. Also, we want to look for damage to the cylinder rod here, the chrome part. If there's any damage to this cylinder, what's going to happen is it's going to cause tears in the lip seal of these hydraulic cylinders, and it's going to cause leaks. So making sure that that's free of debris and damage is going to help the machine not have any leaks. Working our way down, we're going to still do the same thing on all of our cylinders. We're checking the condition of our hoses, our lines, checking the condition of the chrome, making sure we're not seeing any damage. Also, at the same point, we want to inspect our bucket. We want to inspect our teeth, making sure that we have adequate tooth material left, and if not, it's really important to get that replaced. Same thing, we're going to want to look on this side. We're going to want to inspect this same side of the machine. Checking our lights. Lights are a safety item, so we want to make sure that our lights are in good working proper condition. Coming down here in the lower frame area, we want to check our blade area and our blade cylinder, right? Sometimes material will accumulate up in this area, and we want to keep this blade area free and clear from debris. Also, we want to make sure that we have no leaks from our blade cylinders. At this angle, we could also look here on our lower portion. We want to look at our housing bolts. So our the car body bolts are really important to make sure that we're not missing any bolts, anything's damaged. And we will demonstrate the proper method for checking the tightness from those bolts in a video to come. While we're down here in this area, we want to be checking our track assemblies, checking the condition of our tracks, looking for any gouges, any metal showing, any braiding showing. We want to be checking the condition of our final drive assemblies. We're going to be looking for any leaks in this area, checking the condition of our sprockets for any damage to the sprockets, and also looking for proper track tension. If you see a super loose track, you're going to want to get that written up so maintenance can take care of that. Now we're going to move up into the cab area. Here we're going to want to check the structure of our cab, of our ROPS. This is a safety item, so we want to make sure that there's no damage or anything that's going to cause any future problems if there is a rollover. Here in the cab area and the controls, we want to make sure we're checking the condition of our controls, making sure everything moves freely with no hesitation, and that there's no damage to our safety lockout. Here we want to check the condition of the controls, making sure that our controls are in good working order. Also, that we're going to look for leaks down here to make sure we have no oil leaking. Also too, we want to make sure that we have our safety belt. Seat belt is a safety item, and we want to make sure that's there and in working condition as well. Here at the back of the machine, we're going to find the diesel fill port. It's really important that we make sure that this area is clean before we open this cap. That way we don't introduce any dirt or foreign material into the fuel system. In this video, we're going to demonstrate the proper way to grease the upper ring gear and ring bearing assembly on this machine. Right here at this grease point here is where we're going to be greasing the machine. To properly do this, we're going to want to grease the machine in 4 different rotations of the machine to complete a complete 360 with the machine. So starting off in the center position, you would go ahead and put 5 to 10 pumps of grease in this greaser, and then what you're going to want to do is work the machine around in 90-degree turns all the way until you have completed a 360. And at every 90-degree turn, you're going to go ahead and put another 5 to 10 pumps of grease all the way until you make a complete circle.